लेकिन अपने $2 तक सिर्फ अपना लॉस लेना है, वरना फिर मसला हो जाएगा। दो दो 2 पॉइंट गोल्ड का 200।
अगर मैं ऊपर पे लगा रही तो उसके नीचे का पूरा रखना है, जैसे हम इसी में
नहीं वही रखते हैं, वही ऊपर वाले से $2। देखें ऊपर जो भी गोल्ड की प्राइस होगी उससे ऊपर $2 20 टिक्स ऊपर लगा देना, कि अगर $2 वहां से चढ़ गया
लेकिन जैसे जैसे 5 का अगर मार्जिन होता है तो हम ये लेके 5 ऐड करते हैं।
हाँ वहीं पर तो जहां से लगा रहे हैं ऊपर वाला बैंड लें, उसके ऊपर $2 का मार्जिन रखते हैं।
ऑन टॉप ऑफ अगर
यस यस करेक्ट करेक्ट करेक्ट। क्योंकि गोल्ड में मूव में बहुत तेजी से आ जाती है, एकदम $8 का नुकसान $800 होता है, तो गोल्ड
8 पॉइंट का नुकसान $800,
क्योंकि डॉलर का पॉइंट है ना, $1 का वो है, $100 का है।
नहीं वो तो फिर मैं करूंगी तो MGC में करूंगी।
हाँ फिर तो अगर दो का मतलब है $20 का नुकसान एग्जैक्ट।
बट अगर आप 5 लगाते हो या 2 लगाते
हाँ तो उसी हिसाब से एग्जैक्ट। All right, we're live on the live stream.
आपको काफी टाइम हो गया? नहीं तो ये क्लास में मैं चली गई थी बीच में, तो अगली मैं प्रैक्टिस आउट से लाइक लाइव अकाउंट में डेट भी नहीं की। अच्छा अच्छा। Oh, sorry. No.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, क्या हाल चाल है? ठीक ठाक। हाई टू लो क्योंकि गुड मॉर्निंग सर जी, क्या
अच्छा राती दे सारे एरिया लेटो।
हाँ सर, मैं जानते हो सारे उन्होंने क्या किया था, 20,200 तो सेल कर दो बस खत्म। Okay, let's do this quickly. Monday to Friday.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Jay. Night high at 20,262. Yes, pressure is done.
Muted.
Okay. Zoom is good. Live stream is good. All right. Good morning, everybody. Thursday, May the 8th, 9:04 a.m. Eastern. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to superareas.com, wherever you guys are joining us. First things first, let's look at news. Unemployment claims. Less people lost jobs at 8:30. And the other non-farm is slightly higher. Only issue I see in this is 10 o'clock, the Lion King is gonna wake up, right? So that's the problem. It says President Trump speaks, right? So that's the most annoying thing. So we'll still work with the area. R1 is done officially. So we became last night's expected high became R1. That got done. Everything is so. What will happen? We have no idea. 10 o'clock, he's gonna supposedly make a deal. So I have no idea which way, but let's look at Nasdaq. Last night's area was 20,200 to 20,280. The market, well, I was in short from 20,200 and took a bit of a profit in the morning. Yes, it did go against me 62 points, but I held with a couple of micros and it was okay. What's the low? So 19,910 is the low. So 315 points. So high to go low is our plan, meaning we will every time maybe R2 hits, we will sell. So we'll go according to the plan as it goes. So high to go is the plan. So right now the price is, so I would say your R1 is done. R1 is done. And now the price is 160. It's somewhere in between R1 and S1. Let's see. Yes, we have a high of 17 and a low of 36. Big difference. Wow. Because of interest rate yesterday. 10 o'clock is, I don't know what deal he's going to make with which company. I'd rather not be in a trade when he is in the Oval Office speaking. सर नहीं वो लिखा है प्रेसिडेंट स्पीक्स वो सबसे ऊपर चला जाता है हाँ वो तो नेचुरल गैस हमें ज्यादा अगर इम्पोर्टेंट हुआ 1 PM एंड 10 AM अब वो पीछे आके बोलना शुरू कर देगा तो let's see if it goes down and test R1 again or goes up. Let's see. Time will tell.
S1 is valid, right?
S1 तो अभी है जी अभी तो
Hello? Hello? Sir, good morning.
Good morning जी क्या हाल है
हाँ हाँ वही तुम्हारे एरिया से कितना हो रहा है हाँ हाँ I was finding it there. Oh yeah, sorry. हाँ there you go. हाँ नहीं
बस सर मैंने कर दिया था 20,200 से नहीं वो गई पहले अगेंस्ट में हाँ 26,200 फिर उसने अच्छा प्रॉफिट दे दिया मेरा सन है 40 पॉइंट्स अभी भी 64 पे आ गई
फोन चेक कर हाँ आधा करूँगा पर अच्छी बेटे फोन देखो अरे तो कौन सी अपडेट हाँ हाँ चावल कितना लगा ये भी लगा तो बस चलो और मेरे ख्याल में छोटे छोटे अपने सामने करोगे
Let's see.
सेफ हो गया I just created it, that's what I was just checking.
Okay.
Which one you want to create? This one?
It's not 30. No.
चले आपको क्विकली बता दूं एरिया देखें ये मेरा 30 मिनट्स का चार्ट है ना ठीक मैंने इसको खोला और इस वक्त एरिया क्या लगा हुआ है मैं इसको भी एन क्यू है अब मैंने ये लगाया कि मैं कहता हूँ R2 की अपर रेंज लेनी है फॉर एग्जांपल नंबर है 440 मैंने जगह 437 पे राइट क्लिक किया ऑर्डर लगा दिया ठीक है ये मेरा ऑर्डर लग गया है अब मेरे अगेंस्ट जाती कितनी जाएगी लेट्स से मैं कहता हूँ 440 या 450 पे आ गई ना
हम 40 पॉइंट लेते हैं तो
40 से 35 पॉइंट राइट सो अगर अब जिसने कल 200 पे लगाया लेकिन 40 पॉइंट लगाया उसका स्टॉप लॉस हिट हुआ है क्योंकि 262 तक गई है वो लेकिन रेंज के अंदर थी 200 से 280 के दरमियान आई मैंने स्टॉप लॉस 2 माइक्रो से नहीं लगाया था एंड हुआ राइट सो लेट्स से आपने कहा कि यहाँ पर आए तो 478 पे आ जाए ना तो आई वांट टू गेट आउट सो राइट क्लिक ये लिखा है बाय स्टॉप लॉस ये लिखा है बाय स्टॉप सॉरी ये लिखा है बाय स्टॉप अब मेरा ऑर्डर लग गया एग्जैक्टली
बट नॉट विद द
नॉट विद द टीपी ठीक है अगर आपने बिल्कुल ही उसको ऑटोमेट करना है या एटीएम लगा दें ये लगाई कस्टम अब मेरा स्टॉप लॉस क्योंकि मैं 50 पॉइंट है लेट्स से 50 टाइम्स 4 200 का स्टॉप लॉस और टीपी लेट्स से मैं लेता हूँ 20 चौका 80 ये
उल्टा कर दिया सर आप
सॉरी 200 प्लस और 80 ये एक टिपिकल एक है नाइट के लिए
नाइट के
मीनिंग अगर रात को आपने लगाना है तो स्टॉप लॉस भी लगा दिया और टीपी भी ये देखें प्रॉफिट 80
आप प्रॉफिट 200 रखना चाहते हैं
यहाँ लगाया और ये
ठीक है
अब आप कहती हैं कि मैंने नीचे भी ये ऑर्डर लगाना ठीक है अगर इन केस नीचे वाला मैंने S2 आ गया ठीक है तो एक और एटीएम लगाई उसमें भी सेम किया मैंने किया 80 और 200 और मैं गया एक्सपेक्टरी लेट्स से एक्सपेक्टर लो पे और यहाँ मैंने बाय लगा डन
अच्छा 2 मिनट में लगा सकते
तो
हैं
एक ही एरिया के अंदर 2 डिफरेंट एटीएम्स के साथ मैंने लगा दिया और डन हो गया
अच्छा ठीक है मेरे को लगा कि मैं नहीं लगा सकती
लगा सकते डिफरेंट एटीएम सेम एटीएम के साथ में
अच्छा डिफरेंट
यस ओसीए को बिल्कुल ही कैंसिल कर देगा ना एक दूसरे के साथ लेकिन ये वो भी कर सकते हैं नो प्रॉब्लम वो बल्कि ज्यादा बेटर है या एक पे कुआ या दूसरा ओसीओ में कन्वर्ट करते हैं। तो करने से पहले मैं सिर्फ इस दोनों ऑर्डर को लगाने से पहले राइट क्लिक करूंगा, राइट हियर एंड गो ओसीओ ऑर्डर। अब ये लग चुके हैं, ये ऊपर ओसीओ लिखा हुआ है, तो एक इधर लगा दें ऑर्डर सेल का और दूसरा कहीं और लगा दें, लेट्स से बाय।
बट सर हमने लगाने से ये नहीं भी समटाइम 2-3 मिनट पहले ही
नहीं, अब वो आपको गारंटीड नहीं है ना, आप सामने नहीं बैठे, आप सो गए हो, ठीक है, आप जा रहे हो, आप कहते हो कि जी अगर 20,200 पे आई मुझे पिक कर लेना, अब सुबह 6 बजे आए 7 बजे आए ये नहीं पता। So let's see if it goes and test night session high first, because we have a night session high of 262, almost 100 points from here. And ES we also have almost 57.17 minus 56.90. So we have about 30 points from here.
कोई एरिया डन नहीं हुआ है ना जिसमें
R1 नाइट का एक्सपेक्टेड हाई, अब का R1 था ना, वो डन हो गया, इसीलिए मैंने उसको हाईलाइट कर दिया। Okay. Good morning, जी। All right. Forgetting anything?
Okay. No problem. Yeah.
आप आ गया खुला आज तो, मैं कंप्रेस बैठे हैं, बहुत जगह है हर तरफ। अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है। तो आपने चेक किया वो वाला, मुझे इन्होंने इनको बता दिखा दें। अच्छा अच्छा ठीक है, बस सही है, हमें वो अगेन थोड़ा सा सेपरेट सा है। हाँ, प्राइस बड़ी अच्छी है, सर ऐसा ही चाहिए।
तो उसके डायरेक्टर से बात करो, पॉइंट बनाओ। आइए बाकी बुला लें।
बस पार्किंग देख लीजिएगा कि, क्योंकि हमें एटलीस्ट 4-5। हाँ हाँ, अच्छा,
जस्ट नॉर्थ ऑफ वेड ऑन द क्लाउड पार्किंग
पता लगे सर 2 पार्किंग दें तो।
How we come in the other? So, kaya siya. Tao mo itong tanggal na may mga jaro. Hindi ka. Active. And then actually, the total my job. Okay, so I'm like, Ajaro,
safe gets it.
Bollinger's and graph दिखाई नहीं दे Bollinger's and graph.
Yeah. So give it yourself about 20 minutes, then go see him.
Oh.
I think he has to fix it. Maybe your Windows got updated or something. He can fix it.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. How many times have you got guys turn to the microphone? Okay. Good morning. There's Trinidad, good morning. There's one day, Twitter, good morning. One, three, good morning. Good morning. Majid, good morning. Soccer share the video. Thanks to raise in the chat room, so I missed reading from people. So good morning, everybody, and quick review of our disclaimer that is all material and important on our website with all the predictable, not standard as certain provide the adjustment to enhance certain not necessarily given no responsibility for any profit or loss. It's solely responsible for all the and don't let it yesterday. Regularly to check the goals mostly. And what you see and trader market is very politically and all the areas we have on also financial areas. Because for information and education purposes only, and we take no responsibility for any action taken by any subscriber. Today, S&P 500 hit our R1 area. Nasdaq hit R1. We listened that down a bit outside yesterday, quite close to our expected low for the day, especially Nasdaq hit very close to expected low and upside. Almost 584 times. That's a big one to collect. That's a big push to the upside. 121.5. 50 cents push to the upside on S&P 500. So we have our higher high and keep high 240 for that. We are really close to 240 upper band, so 2 would be a push for the downside. Today, S&P 500 high for the day is 57. Our low for S&P 500 is the 5620 to 5600. High for low would be a good strategy today. And today also a very important day. Why? Because Trump's speech is coming at 10 o'clock. This is not for manipulate the market. We have non-farm productivity, wholesale, inventory, that's something natural there. But really, we'll get Trump's speech today and tomorrow. Everybody knows it's crazy day, whole day the speeches are going on. Russia is down, basis up, Nasdaq our high is 510 to 20,000, and our low is 19,840 to 760, 19,760. Today's currencies are not matched. If you look at the Canadian dollar, British pound is not in Canadian dollars and how the question. But hold on, we'll see after 10 o'clock what will happen. British pound went to low for the day. Our low for the day is done. Our British pound already hit our expected low for the day. And then we're back up and coming up almost 80% push to the upside. And this is what we're talking about. Canadian dollar usually moves in the same direction, but Canadian dollar went to our expected low for the day. And as to our low for the day is done, and Canadian dollar is not going up much. The downside is hardly taking 30% cover up, but not as the British pound. Not all expected, but the pattern is same as British pound and Canadian dollar. Crude oil is up right now above PP, and not much whole night. We have $1.52, actually $2.52. over 60%, $1 less than the push to the downside. That's a retracement. So we want to on the up. It should bend back up on the because very strong push to the upside is coming for the crude oil because it already hit a way low. And if you see that was 530. I remember one day. Yeah, and 5 months pushing back up. That went up one right now above PP and not much. Just after 7 o'clock, we had the push to the downside and covered up almost 40% of that push to the downside. And gold, our expected low for the day, gold is bouncing back up, but base is down, pressure is up. $96 after after 10, I think 11, there's that $96.60 push to the downside. But right now sitting at S1, S2, S3, in between S2, S3, and push to the upside. Copper, no, hit, no, already hit low today. And copper was a thing. I think it's the 72 cents, that's a big push to the downside on silver and every market is moving much. $1 and 0.65 swing to the downside on yesterday high. I remember when silver moved at 23 cents or 40 cents in a day, but now this rate you can expect anything these days. And then we have natural gas. Natural gas went up. Today hit our 2 area. High for 76 cents is done. So 77 cents, 77.80 is our expected high for the day. Today, quite natural gas hit our high for the day. And after market that is banana today is medium. Medium, very strong push to the upside. And still is crazy going up. Bitcoin is going up. And Bitcoin, if you look at the push to the upside, it's 100, almost 500, 100,000, 100,500. It's crazy, really nice 4,245 push to the upside. It has more cushion to the upside. Ethereum has more room to the upside. Right now, 1984. Around 4,300 but I'm expecting 10,000 plus US near success. But overall, look, if you want to have a nice fresh crypto, 240, go ahead, only go long, don't be caught with crypto because these two cryptos are same as gold at one way. That is the upside. And again, guys, 10 o'clock is very, very important. People come to try to stay away from the market at 10 o'clock. Let his words will move the market and we'll see which way the price is. The best is I will is a good strategy today. This guys is the area. If you have any questions, you can phone me or even text me. And I will be here from Melbourne. I'm not hoping everybody. I'm sorry if I missed your name because I made the room and our photo room was on, but I usually. So sorry. Guys, if you have any questions, you call me or you can text me. I will be there. One for me.
Okay. If you took this mid-band, you're done. आया चला गया SRE भी हो गया था वो पीछे था थोड़ा सा पीछे yeah so now sit and wait. It's been on this candle for quite some time. Let's see.
This is the midpoint, right? And then the upper band, this one, you have to put lower band.
Yeah.
Just take it a little bit very back. Stop loss.
और अभी जाओ थोड़ी देर के बोल जाओ अभी जाओ थोड़ी देर के
अभी चले नॉक करके चले जाए All right, price is coming towards S1. Let's see. High to go, low is our strategy. Another mid-band, 2 points, done. Top of the bar, 2 points, done. It's another 15 minutes before his speech starts, and the rally or up or down could be rough. So be careful when he's speaking. SRES gave us 1 point.
Thanks for my paper. And for-
You got it?
Yeah, I got it right.
Good.
That's right.
Where did you buy it? Explain it. No, no, I think, I mean, I told you, you don't do it. No, you don't do it. No.
I clicked it on. I thought it didn't go to green. So that's what I thought it was.
Thing, right? So you stay inside. So when you see green, and you buy. Okay? Right. Don't do that, okay?
So it could go as low as 56.29, which will put us, if it goes to 56.84 minus 56.29, 55 times 5, 275 points, 20127 minus 275, so 18. Yeah, as expected low for Nasdaq.
Yeah.
I told you, Jimmy, you don't have that. Right? You can do everything. One is black and then you sell. You see black and then here?
Yeah.
Here you sell.
Like when it's forming or when it's
No,
forming?
no, it's one, you see the black.
When it's forming.
We used to pick one.
Like this one.
Yeah. So one, three red candle goes to the downside, then we'll see it. So one three candle, few. Got it? Yeah, give me 1 second. Now you wait for the currency. Perfect.
Touch 7150. We are in S1. Yesterday market went so high up, so let it come down first. Nasdaq went 583 points from 19,678 to 2262. So
Order picker. Yeah.
S1 is done, bounce from 7150. For ES.
with the live damage. What's up? What's your name? Prices? Some. That's this is fine. This is like this is like that's fine. That's fine. Sir, एक क्वेश्चन आ मैं कॉपी लगा दे get my trade दो तीनों अकाउंट में have to go position and then उसमें चल रहा था
हाँ हाँ, आपको पोजीशन में जाके फ्लैटन करना होता है। एग्जैक्ट, ये नॉर्मल प्रॉब्लम। स्पेशली एपेक्स में और बुल रिदमिक वालों में ये इशू है। टेस्टिंग S2 one more time, S1 sorry।
एक बार भी कॉपी लगा सकते हैं ना effects
हाँ
हाँ जी yeah every day we yeah
So right now, if you see for Nasdaq, 2400 bit of a so crude, sorry, 2400, right?
2400 वो done now
So done.
वो तो चले या price देखो
So next area is the for the 20,000, right? Oh. Yeah.
सारे ने लड़ा नहीं आता हाँ दो यार kita काम है रखना चाहिए यार এটা न्यूज़ आने पता नहीं कितने सर 19950
नहीं S2 लूंगा नैस्डैक का।
नहीं वही 199
हाँ हाँ
So consider 2400 done and to be the 2000 to the lower limit. That is also kind of done your open.
can you skip for that
Skip karna. So next one is going to be 19950, right?
Yeah. Why not you just wait because there's news that come up.
I do 9950 exactly and for
मैं तो पूरे तरह से on the down नहीं
40 plus minus, है ना?
ओ मैं इधर कर रहा हूँ So, so we have.
So you can using. So good. It's love. It's it.
Two points done, bottom of the bar. Hmm? Sir, any time the maybe 1 or 2 micros at best. I took that bottom of the bar with 5 micros on 30-20.
जो भी ट्रंकली होगा तभी लेनी चाहिए, राइट सर? That's fine. We're negative. That's fine. Wait for another.
What is that?
Is he on TV yet?
Sir, top of the bottom front right away होने के बाद ही
हाँ उसके बाद 30-20 में लें तो
I think होने बोलने लगा.
क्या शाले बोलने लगे
Whenever an area's new candle starts, we have to give some time or
no
ਸਰ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਏਰੀਆ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੋਣੇ ਸੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ
राइट क्लिक इंडिकेटर उस पर यूजर नेम पासवर्ड डालना है। वो जो सुपर एरियाज आल्गो वाला इंडिकेटर है, नीचे 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 एक, हाँ यहाँ यूजर नेम पासवर्ड अपना सुपर एरियाज का,
ਫਿਰ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ
बस ऐसे खुद ही आ जाएंगे। या only person retrace is done.
Anticipation में market
Wow, in the back. I think it's done. It's done already.
All right, another top of the bar done. Another mid band done.
It changed, right? Because the data, we data, right? That's why. what's coaching?
Yeah, that's why it looks very energy.
So we stick to this one line. Now,
S1, let's see.
there we go. Good job.
Should I do it or do it?
Close it. Point to I get. Picture.
एक पॉइंट एक टिक से रह गया मिड बैंड का गैप ट्रेड बन रहा था ये लेकिन बॉटम में तो बार आया बड़ा लिया नहीं आप अच्छा आई नो बट एनी एक टिक से रह के
115 times.
15 10
Higher and higher low.
नहीं 15-10 पे हायर हाई नहीं था एक टिक के बाद हो जाता ना तो हायर हाई बन आपका हायर है ओके
Previous move.
मैं टाइम ओडो मिड बैंड नहीं रहता
ये सर मैं कई दफ़ा वो दोनों ग्रीन थे लो ऑफ द बार वो आप एक टिक से रह जाए तो आपका हायर हाई नहीं लिखा जाएगा और आपने वो ट्रेड में टेक्निकली बिल्कुल सही किया है लेकिन इस दौरान 5 6 8 10 पॉइंट निकल गए सर अभी पब्लिक के अंदर डील चल रही होगी अभी लेट्स सी
अगर टैरिफ रिडक्शन की बात होगी तो फिर मार्केट्स ऊपर जाएंगी राइट
हाँ जी अभी तो यूके और यूएस की डील जो चल रही है उसका सारा ये
ब्रिटिश एक्सपोर्ट्स की भी बहुत
ये इसको स्पीड कहते हैं एक मिड बैंड अच्छा लग जाए आ गया जी उठ गया
कितना होगा? Execution period check करा position. सवाल लग गया
हाँ?
Yes.
हाँ दोबारा fourth time.
So don't. Oh my God. Okay.
थोड़ी सी एक्शन आता है फिर रुक जाए.
You take it, right? Okay. I'm not sure.
बोला है
Is it possible to get call you back? You can send me on WhatsApp.
छोटे छोटे झटके आते हैं because Trump pulse. Nasdaq S1 तक गई बकायदा टच हुआ जी Nasdaq did go to 20,025 so S1 is done for Nasdaq officially. $20,025 went there. Open at 20,115.
Something. So then we get to the law.
No.
Yeah, because when it immediately installed and it will lost that file. So we have to wait for three candles.
For this week, keep using it. I'll tell you.
No, I just want
Back down.
See that? That's what you do.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Hey, with the I saw three candles in the red or pink. Sold.
Just as soon as you saw pink, so don't look at the diamond. तो रह गया
हैं क्या रह गया
Midband में touch कर
हाँ that worked. ये मिड बैंड हो गया, चल गया.
उसको फोन करके नीचे भी जा सकती है. Imagine what to do. Yeah. Oh, 30. Like man, that's a new. ऐसे नहीं लगता इसको फेल करके इसने किया था. अरे भाई वो फेल करके सीधा ले गया. टेस्टिंग यूजिंग पासवर्ड आके फिर वो इसको लाइन को क्लिक करो क्लिक then you have to go to tradable and
5th time testing S1. Bounces, goes back up, bounces, goes back up.
copy paste to tradable and then you use this that will just anywhere to the set. You should put that money and use in your policy.
I'm just looking at the screen. Candle?
Yeah.
I'm not able to see because the white dotted line.
Background.
So yeah, the background. So, you can put this. It's very wonderful.
Yes, okay.
है
No, रहेगा.
नहीं इस दफा 25 से नीचे जाएगा फिर देख रहा हूँ. मुझे फियर है कि एनी टाइम इसने राइजली शार्प होना है उसमें बस. लेट्स सी. This 30-20 has a divergence a bit.
Oh, it's coming, sir.
Terry? He's here?
Mm.
There you go. They're about to go crazy. Let's open up the orders and have the buttons ready to buy or sell.
What's happening from the thing here?
Thank you, sir.
You'll let the farmers know. In addition, the UK will reduce or eliminate numerous non-tariff barriers that unfairly discriminated against American products. But this is now turning out, I think, really to be a great deal for both countries because it'll be really great for the UK also. So they're opening up the country. Their country is a little closed, and we appreciate that. They'll also be fast tracking American goods through their customs process, so our exports go to a very, very quick form of approval, and there won't be any red tape. Things are going to move very quickly both ways. The final details are being written up in the coming weeks. We'll have it all very conclusive, but the actual deal is a very conclusive one. We think just about everything's been approved. So good for both countries, and we'll also receive new market access for American chemicals, machinery, and many other industrial products that weren't allowed. And they'll end up getting products that they'll be able to price, and if they like them better and we make great products, they'll be buying those products, but they were not available in the UK. Furthermore, in a historic step, the deal includes plans that will bring the United Kingdom into the economic security alignment with the United States. That's the first of its kind. So we have a big economic security blanket, and that's very important. And we feel very, very comfortable with that because it's been a great ally, truly one of our great allies. I mean, a lot of people say our greatest ally. I don't want to insult people by saying that, but I can say it's certainly one of our greatest. And they're right at the top, and they're the first one we're talking about. And by the way, we have many meetings planned today and tomorrow, and every country wants to be making deals. And we have a meeting, as you know, Scott will be going over to Switzerland on Saturday. That'll be very, very interesting. We'll just find out. I think they want to make a deal very badly too. Both countries have agreed that the economic security is national security, and will be working together as allies to ensure that we have a strong industrial base, appropriate export controls, and protections for key technologies and industries like steel. Steel is a big factor. Both countries will become stronger with steel and things necessary for military. You know, we used to build ships and other things literally at a level that nobody's ever seen, and we haven't. We've eased up, and I would say that the UK certainly eased up, but now we're going to be uneasing both, and we work together. Once again, I want to thank Prime Minister Starmer. He's been terrific for his partnership in this matter, the special relationship and external bond. It's really an external and an internal bond between our two countries will soon be stronger than ever before. We really do. We have a great relationship. I want to just say that the representatives of UK have been so professional, and it's been an honor doing business with all of them, and in particular the Prime Minister. And I'd like to introduce him now to say a few words. Mr. Prime Minister, please take it away.
Thank you, Mr. President, Donald. And this is a really fantastic, historic day in which we can announce this deal between our two great countries. And I think it's a real tribute
थोड़ा सा वेट शायद नीचे ला
the history that we have working so closely together. Can I pay tribute, Donald, to your negotiating team as well, particularly Howard and Jameson, who've done an incredible job, a very professional job, and my team as well. Two negotiating teams have worked at pace now for a number of weeks to bring in this deal today. Really important deal. This is going to boost trade between and across our countries. It's going to not only protect jobs but create jobs, opening market access. And as you say, Donald, the timing couldn't be more apt, because not only was it 80 years ago today that victory came for Europe after and at the end of the Second World War, but of course on that day the UK and the US stood together as the closest of allies. And Donald, I think even down to the hour, because you may or may not know that it was about this time of day, exactly 80 years ago, that Winston Churchill announced victory in Europe, and that led to great celebrations across Europe, across America, but particularly in the United Kingdom. Literally people going out into the street, putting bunting up, going up to the palace, and so to be able to announce this great deal on the same day, 80 years forward, almost at the same hour, and as we were 80 years ago, with the UK and the US standing side by side, I think is incredibly important and makes this truly historic. That close relationship that endured over those 80 years, as you know, Donald, when it comes to defence and security and intelligence sharing, of course.
I don't know why he's saying Donald keeps saying. He has to say Mr. President, right? That's what I'm picking. Every wire he keeps saying Donald, Donald. बड़ा informal चल रहा है भाई. He has to say Mr. President.
Reciprocal arrangements. We've always had a fair and balanced arrangement between our countries. This builds on that. Hugely important for sectors like car manufacturing and for steel and aluminium and so many others. Some of the details, but there's a fantastic platform here, including, of course, on the tech side, where I think I'm right in saying we're the only two Western countries with trillion-dollar sectors when it comes to tech. And in the end, it comes down to, as you say, Donald, economic security is national security. On national security, we've been absolutely the closest of allies for so many years, keeping the peace through that close alliance, that friendship. And now we add to that this deal on trade and the economy. And I want to thank you for your leadership on that, Donald, and for the way in which your team have negotiated this. And I'm so pleased that we got this deal, we've finalised it, and we've built an incredible platform for the future. So thank you so much. So I'm now going to go to a press conference. I think you have your press in with you. But on the details, I think if you've got Howard, we can deal with that through one of my team.
That's great. Well, Mr. Prime Minister, thank you very much. It's an honor. We're going to have a continued, maybe a better relationship than ever before. You know, I don't know if the media knows, but the U.S. and U.K. have been working for years to try and make a deal. And it never quite got there.
Yeah.
It did with this Prime Minister. So I want to just congratulate.
Well, with this President, this Prime Minister, we've managed to achieve what many people have tried to achieve for many years. And I'm really pleased, and it feels completely historic and on a special 80-year anniversary as well. So, Donald, thank you so much. It's really good to have got this deal over the line. Tribute to both teams, tribute to our countries, and tribute to your leadership.
Well, it really is a great thing. And you go do your press conference, and I'll see you soon. Maybe speak to you later. But thank you very much. An incredible thing. I can't tell you that for so many years, even as I sat, everybody talked and talked and talked about a deal. It just seemed like a natural deal, but it was not done. But now it was done with us. So I feel very proud to have been a part of it. Keir, thank you very much.
Thanks, Donald, and we'll speak again soon.
Very good. So long. Bye.
Market shoots up.
Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, give a little description of the and then the good side.
हाँ सारे एशिया भी अब है, यूरोप भी अब है. थोड़ा सा यूएस ठीक हो गया तो बाकी सारे खुद ही है. यूएस को बुखार चढ़ता है तो हम सारे बीमार हो जाते हैं.
Opening up the country that we really didn't have the kind of access to that I would have thought. I was surprised. I think it's why the deal never got done before. You know, they've been working on this deal for 25 years. We got it done, and we got it done. Really, it's going to be great for both countries. So, Sharon, if you could go, and then somebody else, you may have your picture, whoever you want, who would like to do. I have a feeling you're going to do it, right? So, you guys go ahead, and then we'll take questions right after that. But I think you'll get a pretty good understanding of how big it is. It's a very large deal, very big deal. And Howard, go ahead.
So the UK is the 6th largest economy in the world and the 4th largest that we export to, right? So it's a huge market, a top 10 market. If you remember Liberation Day, they were at 10% because we have balanced trade with the UK. Right? They say they have
नहीं वो कुछ चीजें अंदर भेजना चाह रहे हैं जो यूके में पहले बंद होंगी नहीं अलाउ होगी ना.
So how do you open up the market in balanced trade? People think it's impossible. They've always thought it was impossible until President Trump came on the scene and changed the way things work. So here's what we've got. We've opened up new market access, ethanol, beef, machinery, all the agricultural products. They've agreed to open their markets, and that will add $5 billion of opportunity to American exporters. So the question is, why would they do that now? Because they've never done it before. And we still have our 10% tariff on, which will produce $6 billion of revenue for the United States. So the idea was, how do they keep their jobs, protect their economy, and do the best for their people while opening the market for us? And the ways they studied it, their team was exceptional, and they tried to figure out the markets that they're importing from other people and try to send them over to America. So why were they always favoring others and not us? And what they've done is they found ways to do that so that we have new access, right? But the UK workers are protected, and that was the balance. So you got,
Good today.
we did a deal with them in automobiles, and you know, if you're not building here, we charge you 25% tariff. But the president, and by the way, I want to make this clear, while Jameson and I worked hard, This was the president's deal. And people think, oh, that's not the way it works. If you got to sit next to him, I have the best deal maker to my left. And if you don't think that we take advantage of him calling the prime minister and getting that deal done, you don't understand who's the president of the United States. So he's the closer. He gets deals done that we could never get done because he understands business. He understands deals. And that's what so
हाँ जी हाँ जी कोशिश कर रहा हूँ
100,000 cars into America, you only pay a 10% tax.
जी सर
And that protects your foreign
ईपेक्स की वेबसाइट पे जाएं और सिग्नेचर पे जाएं
So this is only like 0.6%. But for the UK auto people, this is tens of thousands of jobs that the president would really protect for them. So he made that deal, right? Then steel and aluminum, right? Their steel business has been destroyed like everybody else has been destroyed by people dumping steel into their markets. And British Steel had announced it was closing down. So the British government, as part of this deal, nationalized British Steel, and they're going to match the kinds of models we do, the tariffs on, the quotas on. They want to do it with America so they can be part of the resurgence of steel and aluminum in America, and that saves them, again, thousands and thousands of jobs. So if you go step by step,
ईपेक्स की वेबसाइट पे लॉग इन करें
commercial plane, they sold Rolls-Royce engines to Boeing. We've agreed to let Rolls-Royce engines and those kind of plane parts to come over to
हाँ log in
And what you're going to hear today is there's going to be an announcement in the UK that they are buying $10 billion worth of Boeing planes later today, but I'm going to let the name of the airline announce
Username password. Yeah, bro.
हाँ हाँ आपने नहीं आपके पास है ईपेक्स का यूजर नेम पासवर्ड
And you can see the numbers on this board. Everything about this board works exceptionally well for the United States of America. It lays out the plan that you can work with us with autos, you can work with us with aero and commercial, you can work with us with pharmaceuticals if you have a supply chain that is secure and protected in national security. So we feel really good about the deal. We put it Prime Minister, he feels really good about the deal, right? And we started at 10% and we ended at 10%. And the market for America is better. And this is a perfect example of why he gets things done
Fine.
in a matter of time. 3 years, and instead of in 45 days, certainly, because we worked it out.
और ठीक है चुप कर जाओ उसको बोलने दो
Happy to do that. One great remark is that the Prime Minister, we talked about the UK. This is something we've been waiting for decades, and there's no more appropriate day to do this. And when we step back and we look back a few weeks from now, a month from now, a year from now, we're looking back at this day and better appreciate the significance, I think. And I'll just say as well, in terms of negotiating, I mean, UK negotiators, we've got one right here. Did an incredible job, right? This is why you've been wars, right? When you act like this, and the ambassador, he knows more about trade than a lot of us here. He sometimes better equipment. And I would say on this deal, Mr. President, what we've shown is that it is time to change the way we do trade. People said we couldn't do a global tariff. We did a global tariff. They said no one can offer. They said no one can offer. It's not a step. Said we wouldn't get deals, and here we are with the deal with the 6th largest economy. We've agreed to have guaranteed global trade, and we've done it at a time.
Well, Mr. President, thank you very much indeed in hosting us this morning. And thank you very much indeed also for that very typical 11th hour intervention by you of your phone call to the President, demanding even more to this deal than many of us expected. So thank you for that. I'm delighted, obviously, to take that. And I think the point I would make is one is if we're going to redo international trade in a way that serves all our interests, then we're better doing that together. Secondly, and finally, we're on a mission to do. But secondly, you've done what you said you'd do. You said to the Prime Minister when he came and visited you would do a good trade deal with the United Kingdom, that you would do it at pace, and that we would be involved, and you would deliver, be true to your words. So thank you very much. Indeed.
9-10 ਦਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਸਰ
For us,
9-10 next session will be up there.
it's the end just at the beginning. I mean, there is yet more we can do with reducing tariffs and trade barriers so as to open up our markets to each other, even more than we're agreeing to do today. But it also provides us with that platform, the springboard, to do what I think will be even more valuable for both our countries in the future, and that's creating a technology partnership between the United States and the United Kingdom, so that we can harness science and technology and create future industries and future jobs. Also closely already international security and defense, that area we can just take that to yet further areas of science that enterprise endeavor. So we're looking forward to doing that in the coming month. Work is extremely well today. In my view, the Prime Minister just shows what countries trust each other, so confident in each other, and they familiar with each other can do, not just for ourselves, but for the rest of the world who need to benefit from a bigger, better international trading system. Beautiful state. It's very beautiful. How do I get it? Thank you very much.
Okay, I got a question. Is this news? No, this is just a speech. You can trade EAs, PAs, pros, whatever. This is not a scheduled economic news. This doesn't mean that, you would have to worry anything,
These are results of the difficult times. I think that it's a great deal for both parties. It's for us. We've opened up. I didn't know how close it was. Quite close. The market.
What do you think the risk will take the bottom of that or not?
It opens up.
Yeah, it's fine, but it's a little overbought.
It works out very well. Very well.
It's like on 30 choices, I don't see
Yeah,
that.
ठीक है. एक रिट्रेस आया था पीछे.
We've been trying, and when you say why us, meaning your country, we've been trying for years. In total, when I was in the first term, there would always be people talking, but they weren't getting it done. But for 25 years before that, they would try and always make a deal, a very significant deal. I actually looked at the numbers. I didn't know this is a very conclusive deal, but we think we can grow it even from there. This is a maxed out deal, not like you said it. You said it really incorrectly. This is a maxed out deal that we're going to make bigger. I would make it bigger through but we have tremendous assets in Iran. I was surprised to see how big your country is. You're actually one of the biggest in technology. So many
हाँ जी, वो सिग्नेचर की टैब में जाएं. लेफ्ट पे आपको नीचे सिग्नेचर्स नजर आएगा. क्लिक करें. अब यहाँ लिखा है, वो लिखा है जहाँ नंबर है आपका अकाउंट नंबर 02, उस पर क्लिक करें. हाँ, अब नीचे आए, अपना ड्राइवर लाइसेंस डालें और डिजिटली साइन करें. बिल्कुल आ जाए नीचे.
We can do that. It's very inclusive, and we think everyone's going to be happy.
हाँ, यहाँ पर साइन करें फोन से, यानी कि माउस से, और अपना ड्राइवर लाइसेंस डालें. कोई आईडी.
It's a great thing that became it's so nice because we have many countries for that. And many countries are very happy that we happen to choose this one, to be honest with you. But it's a long time, all this down, just about Just a couple of people complained.
सिन नंबर भी डाल सकते हैं.
हाँ सिन भी डाल सकते हैं. नो
I think it's gonna be something very special for UK, special for the United States.
How can this be used more deals to do its next?
So very close, we have universities and hospitals. So this is the first conference, she's got numerous, and Scott, who's right over here, he's fantastic, by the way. We were right on top of each other this morning. Gave them a little lesson in the world of economics. Scott's going to be going to Switzerland, meeting with China. We know the games, who made the first goal, who did the, it doesn't matter. We matter what happens in that room. And I will tell you that, China very much wants to make a deal, see how that works out.
निकाल.
Every country, well, last week, everybody went off to so we are now making fair deals, and in this case, it's great because very much of it all.
His problem is first create a problem, then offer a solution. Create a problem first, and then offer it. It's like if you have a tire shop and you have a road, first you throw the nails, and then you have a customer. And so that's what he does. He first, there's nothing wrong. Then he creates a problem first, meaning the tire has to get punctured. And then he's like, well, I have tires for you. It's so that's sneaky little guy, man. So, हाँ ये डिजिटली फोन से अपना माउस से पकड़े अपना नाम साइन कर दें. हाँ जी इसके अंदर इस बॉक्स के अंदर साइन करें ना. साइन कैसे कर देंगे. हाँ माउस पकड़ें और साइन कर दें. हाँ उस डब्बे के अंदर जाएं. हाँ तो अपना नाम लिखें. अपने यहाँ ऊपर पहले एग्री नहीं किया. अब कर.
Just signatures.
Yes. ਤੁਹਾਡੇ 8 ਪੀਏ ਪਾਰਕ ਹੋ ਰਹੇ ਪੂਰਾ. ਪੀਏ ਨੂੰ ਨਾਲ ਹਲਕਾ ਥੋੜੀ. ਅੱਛਾ 100 ਤੋਂ ਘੱਟ ਨਾਲ ਕਰਨਾ. ਬੁੱਲਣਾ ਡਿਨਾਈ ਕਰ ਜਾਂਦਾ. 50 100 ਕਰੀ ਜਾਣਾ. ਐ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਿ ਮੀਨਿੰਗ $20 ਦੇ ਟ੍ਰੇਡ ਪਏ ਹੋਣ ਪੀਏ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. ठीक है. मैं ये नहीं गया. इस तरह 100 से ऊपर रखिएगा. 80 से 50 से ऊपर, क्योंकि कुछ एक का डिनाया हुआ है. उन्होंने $20 करके किया. वो कहते हैं सिर्फ इतना कुछ इसमें भी 50 रखने हैं. एपेक्स में 50 से कम वो डे नहीं काउंट होगा.
सिंगल डे में मिनिमम ट्रेड 50 क्यों
नहीं एक ट्रेड नहीं, पूरे दिन का ट्रेड 50 से ज्यादा हो. नंबर 1. नंबर 2 सबसे जो आपने केयरफुल रहना है. आपके पास $1500 है. ठीक है. कोई भी ट्रेड सिंगल ट्रेड 300 से ज्यादा ना जाए. 250 हो जाए नेगेटिव बंद कर दे. वैसे पूरा दिन के लिए बंद कर देना चाहिए. ये एपेक्स कंपनी तो पास करने देती है, लेकिन ये तो आप क्लिक करें साइन. स्लोली सर. वो टोटल 20 है ना. मैं 5 टेक प्रॉफिट होना ऑनेस्टली. तो रोज के 100 बनता है. $500 बनते हैं. पहले एक करें जी पास, बाकी 5. अब जाएं दोबारा सिग्नेचर्स पे. याद रखिए ये जेन्युइन पास नहीं था, तो आपको प्यार से करना है. वो देखें सामने सर्टिफिकेट करें और मुझे भेजें, मैं दुनिया को लगाऊं. वो सर्टिफिकेट पे क्लिक करें. सर्टिफिकेट पे क्लिक करें. राइट सर्टिफिकेट पे क्लिक करें. ये देखें नीचे आए. मुबारक हो जाए. उन्होंने कहा है कि हम आपको फंडिंग दे रहे हैं और इसकी फ़ोटो लेके भेज दें, मैं लगा दूं दुनिया में. मजाक कर रहा हूँ. नहीं सब तो पीए का पे आउट आए ना, वो ज़्यादा अच्छा होता है. आप दोबारा जाएं सिग्नेचर्स की टैब में और पेमेंट लिंक के ऊपर क्लिक करें. सिग्नेचर वापस जाएं एपेक्स में. इसको बंद कर दें. इस विंडो को बंद कर दें. नहीं हाँ ये वाली. अब वो लिखा है पेमेंट लिंक 25K. ये सेंटर में उसके लेफ्ट, हाँ क्लिक करें और यहाँ पर चूज करें $130। ये लिखा है मेंबरशिप टाइप, ये सेंटर में इसको लिखें जो लाइफ टाइम है, लाइफ टाइम,
ये वाला
हाँ लाइफ टाइम, हाँ हाँ इसके नीचे लाइफ टाइम क्लिक करें। नहीं दो है ना, दो ऑप्शन दे रहा है आपको, तो आपने क्लिक कर लिया लाइफ टाइम? नहीं नहीं, देखिए वो ये कह रहा है 130 पे करेंगे तो आपका होगा। और इसको आइडल नहीं छोड़ना, वंस इन अ वाइल कोई ट्रेड डाल लीजिएगा। लो सर 130 पे करें और 130 पे करें और आपका डन हो गया जी। 30-20 severe जो ओवर बॉट है। हाँ हाँ अच्छा छोटा है, ओके हाँ तो ये तो बहुत ही छोटा है, चल थोड़ा सा और, हाँ नहीं ये तो फिर जाती है। हाँ यस यस, देखिए हमें शेड किचन से मसला नहीं है, शेड वॉशरूम से मसला नहीं है, सिर्फ एक रूम हो एटलीस्ट 20x20 का तो हो, वरना बंदा जाके वो स्टोरेज में खोल ले, स्टोरेज में खोल ले। हाँ ठीक,
So that I just want to make sure I'm getting things right.
2400. What's here?
Well, it could be, and we're gonna see right now, you can't get any higher than 145, so we know it's coming down. I think we're gonna have very.
ये बॉटम ऑफ द बार इतने देर बाद हो गया, ये पे कर दे।
इंतजार करके भी अपने हेल्थ सिस्टम में बड़ी
हो नहीं नहीं क्लिक करें ना, सब्सक्राइब इन पे कर दिए, अभी हो रहा है, हो रहा है, हो रहा है।
Position. Okay, sir.
We almost had it last time before Bill. It was.
9 o'clock.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
I do think they have fun. We will assist, but, we're gonna have, I think we're gonna have a very good.
Where do you take it? What did you take?
Depending on what Scott.
Low of the mid band came.
Scott is doing certain countries, and Howard's doing certain countries. I mean, I wish I had like 10 more of each, if we could do them all at one time. But there will be a time, we'll do a number of them. Then there'll be a time, I think I could say this guy an hour with.
नहीं पे हुआ नहीं सर, नहीं वो तो यहाँ तो कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा, आपने क्लिक किया है पे, आपका तो इंटरनेट ही नहीं है, इंटरनेट जा चुका है तो वो तो एनीवे क्लिक करें, इंटरनेट नहीं कनेक्टेड हो,
हॉटस्पॉट से करना था।
हाँ जी है,
क्या मिस्टेक की, पर वो था ना इशू, ये क्यों नहीं हो रहा, इसकी वजह मैंने लाइसेंस नंबर नहीं डाला।
नहीं वो हुआ ही नहीं, वो प्रोसेस, मैं दोबारा जाता हूँ, पेमेंट ना हुई हो, नहीं पेमेंट अपने पे एक, ये तो राहत साहब बोला था $83 इतना में
Really, handmade stuff. They've been doing it for a long time.
करें सर, पेमेंट डालें दोबारा 30 years,
Let's help them out with that. But that's different than our company that comes out and makes millions of cars, which they'll be doing in our country. They're going to build, we have many
अब डालेंगे
factories, car plants being built or going to be built very soon. I think we can say that we'll be close to $10 trillion of investment. I think we're actually at that number now, if you add up some of the ones we haven't heard about yet. I mean, we have some going up right now, they have plants going up.
YouTube videos.
And tariffs have always been used against us. I never understood. I used to sit back, as you know, I paid hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs when I was president. But until then, China never paid anything. You know, they really did a big number on us from the standpoint.
सर R1 हो चुका है रात को, वैसे सुबह ही मॉर्निंग में, लेकिन अब तो इसको गिरना चाहिए, देखें कहाँ से आ गई है। हाँ जी डन, ये क्लिक करें या अब आपका थोड़ी देर में PA बन के आ जाएगा और ये कैंसिल हो जाएगा, डन हो गया। जो अभी वो एक तो खुद ही कैंसिल हो जाएगा और जो नंबर 3 है उसको कैंसिल कर दें, वरना वो रिन्यूअल खुद ही हो जाएगा $30 में। इट्स अप टू यू, कल कीजिएगा ताकि यहाँ पर सिर्फ वो नजर आए जो PA और नो प्रॉब्लम कल, हाँ 1 माह है।
And if we would have said, that's fine, if you want to move it to one that's good, or if you want to sell back into the United States, we're going to put a 50% or 100% tariff on it, they would have never left. But we had people sitting here that didn't understand that, and it's too bad. But now they can think about it, because I'm saying it.
Single shot 43 points, and the market shot up 162 points because of him behind me.
Same as Apple.
तो सर अब यहाँ से लॉग आउट कर दें।
हाँ जी है।
जो सर आपको पिक्चर भेजी वो कहाँ से, वो भी सर्टिफिकेट अलग से,
हाँ ईमेल पे नहीं, यहीं पर जाएं, सिग्नेचर में लिखा होता है।
सर्टिफिकेट्स पर यस।
I think people like to say, yes, we're meeting, we're meeting, so what do we even do, talk about meeting again? So, but I think it's gonna be substantive, I think we could say that, that's what, very substantive. Now, China wants to do something, and they have to at this point, you know, essentially, they make $1 trillion a year, and now they have absolutely, no business because of the tariffs, no business. And they want that, and we want them to, so we want them to do well. We want them to do very well. So I think it's going to be
because business has slowed down, as you mentioned. We're seeing as a result, the courts here in the U.S. the traffic has really slowed, and now thousands of dock workers and truck drivers are worried about their jobs.
That means we lose less money, wouldn't it? When I see that means we lose less money. Look, China is making over $1 trillion, 1.1 trillion.
46 point RSI is super maxed out on both markets.
इसकी पिक्चर लेने जाए तो वो कैसे क्लिक करते हैं पिक्चर कैसे क्लिक करते हैं इसकी यहाँ पे
ये विंडोज में नहीं मुझे मालूम कि हाउ टू टेक ए पिक्चर, लेकिन पीडीएफ डाउनलोड कर लेना, वो सामने राइट पे पीडीएफ डाउनलोड कर।
Access to something that'd be great for the world, it would be great for our businesses, and I think it would be great for friendships. I really expect a lot of people to think I'm a middle-aged guy. I'm really not. I think that trade can bring a greater friendship with each other. It can be something that, you know, one of the things that I know Scott's going to be talking about very high on the list is we can have to be. I think that's safe because it has to do with a lot of different things, including, you know, there's a lot of past things that we do. This is very inclusive. We included everything, and it's pretty well seen.
The 10% baseline tariff that went in place, is that mixed in with this future trade deal?
No. That's a low number. And they made a good deal. Many of them won't be much higher because they have massive trade surpluses. And, you know, in many cases, they didn't treat us right. One thing with UK, they had, you know, somewhat close, not like China, but they always treated us with great respect. They treated us with great respect. The capital 10 is probably the lowest. And we want to, you know, make that deal. You know, we've had just a very special relationship with them. Like, I won't do that deal with cars. I mean, unless somebody showed me there's another kind of car that's comparable to a Rolls Royce, then there aren't too many. It's a big commercial for Rolls Royce. I should order a lot of dollars. I wonder where the Mike's body. Well, the last time this, I mean, I would be discount, obviously very modest discount. Yeah, it was projected on 40. I was maybe up there, I'm sure. The last time I ended up buying a Tesla.
अब फिर टेस्ला बोल गया अपनी स्टेटमेंट में, तो ट्रम्प के ऐलान के साथ
Yeah, that was not our conversation was an economic conversation from start to finish, closed by the president yesterday. This was a business deal, open your markets and also protect the workers, grow our markets, and help our workers.
It's about business religion. Semi, but not too big of wood. I don't want to bring
between Ukraine and Russia.
I think it's a natural thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think making good progress, fighting a different attitudes. I think if we wanted to play the Russian would be maybe get the whole thing without our they'd be able to get it. We supply a lot of questions and it's foolishly, but we've been sort of paid by doing the railroad that I talked about before. I think that I think that we will be very much involved in trying to get that blend bad. It's a blend bad. It's a horrible situation. 5,000. It's way more than that.
But it's 5,000, so it's average of a week, what's in Celsius? They're being killed, young, beautiful people under the being killed. I see the satellite pictures coming back, their body parts flying all over, feels heads and arms. It's so terrible. I've never seen anything like it, actually. And if we can get that stopped, that will be a great accomplishment. And we're trying very hard. I think we're doing Mr. Rickoff is being constantly back and forth. He's a real professional. He's got a great relationship with both countries. And I think we have a good chance. And likewise, we're trying to work on Iran to get that solved without having to get into any bombing, as we say, big bombing. I want to do that. I want them to work together. I want them to be very successful.
Deborah Lawrence from Fox Business. On the non-market barriers, how did you get the UK to bend, and what was the
It's not
deal?
I think it's just part of the overall. I mean, there's so many things that are so good for them. It is. That was easy. We had non-market or non-monetary.
And it went up.
Quite a few of them. Not legal in some countries. Some countries have, they have virtually no tariff, but the rest of them are so brutal you can't do business with them. So it's a very important question, actually. No, I think the overall deal just worked out very well from their standpoint. They were willing to give that in order to get the price. And, you know, I just think we will continue.
Price बहुत different आ रही है.
सर इनके कोई कनेक्शन में देखें कोई डेड अकाउंट तो नहीं है, कोई लेजेंड हो, कोई ऐसी चीज हो जो एक्टिव ही नहीं है.
The point about it is that it provides a very good template, a very good law for what we can continue to do, build on in the future. And that's what we're both determined to do.
Many of the, we'll keep it confidential. How about just one more little bit? We don't get the address, always handled very well from the other side too. But many of these things that we've been talking about this for 25 years. It's hard to explain when you really see it.
You can mess it up. You can see it.
डन आप आज पास हो. हाँ हाँ ये तो हाँ जी.
Deal with UK for 25 years. And especially around the time of Brexit, they wanted to make a deal, so they came out of Brexit and they make a deal. It just couldn't be done. Good people. And this is a bigger deal. This is a much bigger one.
Yeah, that's it.
Even contemplated before. It's a big deal. Virtually everybody can say, it's ended exactly the opposite. But Mr. President, can I say that is due to Secretary Lieutenant Ambassador Weir has been absolutely fantastic. Yesterday I received a call, a very diplomatic call, just pitch things over the line. Your new ambassador. Warren Stevens is here. Where is Warren? He's flying to London tomorrow. He's going to be very popular with the Bush. He's going to be a very successful ambassador.
क्योंकि वो सारी पॉजिटिव बोल रहा है ना, वो सब पॉजिटिव बोल रहा है कि यूके तो ये 20,000 पे खड़ी थी, 20,200 पे आ गई नैस्डैक. तो अभी वापस हमारे R1 के अंदर आ गई ऑलमोस्ट. और नैस्डैक 250 पे है. नहीं 400 मुश्किल लगता है, लेकिन क्योंकि कल से चढ़ रही है, मीनिंग ऑलमोस्ट 600 पॉइंट, तो इसको थोड़ा सा तो ब्रीदिंग रूम चाहिए. तो उन्होंने कहा हुआ है हाई टू गो लो, सो लेट्स सी. अभी तो पहले 250 है, 290 है, बहुत दूर है R2.
I'm just talking this first one. Go ahead.
Federal Reserve Chairman Mr. Crude says that for a meeting with
What do you think about
What's the price? 5703, 75, 3, 75.
It's the shame.
Yeah, 50. Yeah, the court did it.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
But in this case, I don't much because the problem is we're so powerful in terms of making companies spread and what we've done. I'll tell you what, we didn't have our first term. You would be recreating things.
फिर मिड बैंड टच किया, बॉटम ऑफ द बार 2 पॉइंट फिर मिल गया। हाँ जी, 1510 पे हायर हाई से प्राइस आई 2 पॉइंट।
Which is all encompassing the biggest tax cuts in history, bigger than even the first time, and the incentives, even great for the UK because it'll make us so strong that we're going to be doing more business with you. It's a very important element for taxes, for every aspect, regulation cuts. That bill is, I believe, is the biggest bill of this kind ever in the history of this country. And Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune have done an incredible job. I mean, I'll let you know we have to get it up, but we have a lot of support for that bill. And if that happens on top of all of these trade deals that we're doing, this country will hit a point that you better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will.
It says you go better go out buy stock now. लो जी पंप हो रहा है अब। नहीं कह रहा बस बाय कुछ बाय कर लो।
And the Democrats are fighting it only because they want to fight. They Trump derangement syndrome, for somebody else to fight against a normal person. And some stiff sitting back. But they have Trump derangement syndrome. Senator Schumer's become a Palestinian. I don't know whether they're going to give him the ceremony or whatever he said. It's so terrible what's happened to the Democrats. So it's very, very important now that everything what we're doing.
दोबारा R1 टच की टू द डॉट और आ गई।
Business with the UK. We'll have so much. It's the biggest tax cut. It's
Yep.
going to be incentive, as you know, with the deduction for basically for work. You work, you build, you plant, etc. Deduction. It's going to be the biggest. It's the biggest bill of its kind ever passed. Maybe the biggest bill ever passed. That's why we call it the one big beautiful.
You just announced a new nominee for the U.S. Surgeon General who never finished residency and is not a practicing physician. So can you explain why you picked her to be America's top doctor?
Because Bobby thought she was fantastic. She's she's a brilliant woman who went through Stanford, and as I understand it, she basically wanted to be an academic as opposed to a surgeon. I think she graduated first.
This is the Trump effect.
And Bobby really thought she was great. I don't know.
We're almost crossing R1 night session, broken everything.
She's a very outstanding person, a great academic actually. So I think she'll be good.
You're not needed for U.S. Attorney at D.C. You can back the plan. This Senate.
Oh, I do, yeah, but he's a terrific person, and he wasn't getting the support from people that I can.
तो 400 पे जाना ही है।
अब जा रही है जी, जा रही है, उसने कह दिया तो जाएगी।
Night से आगे नीचे है ना?
I have so many different things that I'm doing now with the trade. One person I can only make a school. I can only follow so many hours a day. But we have somebody else that will be great. I just want to say Ed is unbelievable, and hopefully we can bring him into whether it's DOJ or whatever.
नहीं अभी तो R2 का टॉप उसने टच किया और नीचे आ रही है R1 का टॉप लिया जी।
नहीं already नीचे फेलो might break this time.
And we have somebody else that we'll be announcing over the next 2 days who's going to be great.
Going forward in the television saying we're going to raise prices on certain products. How long do you think the American public is going to be patient?
Well, I think this thing is just to try to negotiate deals with me. if the cash is the most misunderstood thing, maybe in any form of business, anywhere in business, oftentimes the country picks them up, oftentimes the company picks it up, the people don't pick it up, okay, the people don't pick it up. And if Ford did that, they wouldn't sell any cars, and if, Mattel, I don't know, I'm not so sure this is the only country I've heard, they said, well, we're gonna go down, or we're gonna go someplace else, that's okay. Let him go and he'll put 100% tariff on his toys, and he won't sell one toy in the United States, so that's their biggest market. I heard that. I mean, I watched this guy talking about how I'm going to go counter. I said, well, I wouldn't want to have him as an executive too long. The Ford people I know very well, what they're doing is negotiating with us by saying that, but we don't think that's going to happen. Look, I put out a truth today, and it said that gas is down, gasoline is down, energy is down. Groceries are down, eggs are down. I mean, eggs, thank you very much. But eggs are down. When I came in the first week, you guys hit me with eggs. They said, what the hell happened with eggs? Eggs were up like 170%. It was going up. And they said, don't order any for Easter. And we were thinking about ordering plastic eggs like everybody was doing. And Brooke did a fantastic job, agriculture. Brooke did a fantastic job. And we had hundreds of thousands of eggs out here on the lawn just 2 weeks ago at Easter. But you take a look at the cost, energy's down, even interest rates are down. Now, if the chairman of the Fed, if you were to lower interest rates like China did, like I think UK did, but like numerous other countries have done, it's like jet fuel, it'd be great. But he doesn't want to do that. I think he doesn't want to do it. Probably he's not in love with me. I think that's right. It's sort of a crazy reason, but that's the way life is. Anybody in his position would be like, it would be like jet fuel. But even without that, we're doing something. But remember this, I've watched you people reporting over the last few months. Like, if we do this, prices are going to go through. Well, groceries are down. All that stuff is down. Lumber is down. Oil is that thing broke 60, right? $60 a barrel, and $98, $1.98, $1.90 in some cases, and heading in that direction. No, I think it's been amazing. What that's good for.
Another mid-band, 2 points.
Because we just came out of the worst inflation, in my opinion, in the history of my country. They say 48 years. But Biden screwed up energy. And he spent too much money. He was spending it on, green new scam. And that's like throwing the money. See that beautiful window behind? Take money, throw it right out that window. Because it's the same thing. He spent $10 trillion. He wasted it. Not only was it bad, it was a negative. It wasn't even like it helped a little bit. It was a real negative. And then on top of it, they let 21 million people into our country without any identification, it was very, very sad. Well, we'll do one more.
On a 99 gas, 99 gas.
If I was, I wouldn't be there. If I was concerned about anything, I wouldn't be there. No, we're not concerned. We're gonna have, I believe, a very good relationship with China, fair relationship. It'll get bigger and it'll grow. It'll grow. As an example,
number 2040.
the best thing China gets in for itself. They don't know that yet because it's safe. Previous, but that would be the greatest thing that ever happened. They should be buy for us. And they'll see things that they never saw before and buy. And it'll really create great long-term peace.
Has that question been resolved? He's talking about somebody who's in more negotiations.
Well, I would just say that it's very clear, and we have it's a term that we are going to discuss all of these types of issues, and obviously, according to it's up to them, follow all those types of things. But our point is the rules need to make sure that they are based on science, and that's our expectation. We know the UK believes that too. We want the consumers in this country to be able to do what they want and get paid for it.
We have an incredible campaign led by the biggest yourself in things, obviously. So the talks continue, but we were very, very confident. Our bonds and with the president opening up the markets is unprecedented for these farmers here in
As they watch this, you saw the stock markets decline sharply after Liberation Day and rallied back since then. And that's because, you know, they said this is all hype trade. And this is a tough one. This is, somebody would say, well, this is easy. This is much tougher, I think, than any of these, because they've been at it for so many years, decades, trying to make this deal. And it's very conclusive, and it's a great deal. It's a very big deal, actually. And now this is just the beginning. We're going to be having conferences, or at some point we won't have. We'll just put out a statement. We just signed this contract, and after a number of these, nobody has enough people to do it. We're just going to put out X country is going to pay this. If they open up, they're going to do this or that, and they're going to be this. Everybody wants to see. You know, this is where they want to be shopping. They want to shop in this country because we have the consumer. We have a consumer like nobody else. And even though if this country were bad, the whole world would go bad. We really saved it from going bad. Yeah,
Control issue. Are you looking at getting new software and new equipment?
yes, because I'm just going to be talking to now the heads of the airlines and everything else. So I was all set up before we had the regular election to get out a brand new gorgeous system to one company that was going to do it all. One of the best companies in the world that you know very well. There's 3 or 4 of them that do that. And when they took over Crude, who has no clue, you know, he drives to work as a bicycle, and it was, he was not fair to his husband. It's a nice little thing. But he didn't have this guy, he didn't have it. And he's actually been tennis for the listening with him in the rocket. He didn't have a authority. He didn't know what he was doing. And he took what they call dry systems, where you have wires in the earth, buried in the earth, or whatever. And they get the open air systems where you have satellites. And you can't mesh them. Anybody would know that if you went through about 2 months of study in school, if you studied that kind of thing. And they spend tens of billions of dollars trying to take all and merging it into existing new equipment with brand new equipment. It's one of the greatest investments, $40 billion. And what they think is even worse, because it doesn't work together. You can't make it work together. You have a satellite, it's satellite. If you don't, they had all these different technologies, some of them 50 years old, and they're trying to mesh them in. And they end up spending twice the money they should have spent. You could have bought a whole new system. So we have a very good guy who you all know, Sean Duffy, instead of transportation. And I've given him a 10-minute lesson in buying, and he's become really good. And we are now in the market to buy a gorgeous, brand new system. The helicopter that crashed into the plane, feed the ship, and man, what would have happened? Bells and sirens. 3 minutes before that accident happened. They had the red. You don't even, well, I can say something, but you always, in my opinion, you always need pilots. But you wouldn't even have to have pilots. This system is so incredible what they can do. But we have a system that's obsolete. And what they did is the worst. They tried to combine the really old, broken stuff. You can't combine it, and anybody should know. So Biden, you think Biden figured this out? I don't think so, fellas. You think he has any clue? He doesn't know what the hell's happening. So here's the story. We're going to be buying a brand new, it's going after big very soon, brand new state-of-the-art system that will cover the entire world. I'll give you an example. When my pilot, now I have military pilots, but prior to that, I had very good pilots, great pilots. They would land, and I won't tell you which country, but they would use the system of another country. They don't even use the system of the United States. So if I'm landing in New York, Florida, or Tennessee, they're using a system from another country. I said, why is that? And they would, went out into business with me saying a system doesn't work. And I said, well, that's what you're saying. you also have to give it out to, look, you have Arabia and you have different companies that have numerous companies. So you have companies that would do it, like an IBM as an example. And you give out 1 year contract, they gave out contracts, they had diggers. They had people that put this on some, they had hundreds of different contracts. One contract where one guy is controlling everything. You need a trench, then they dig a trench. And if you don't dig the trench, you don't do it. What happens is you don't dig it, then they say we want to go somewhere. Now we have it all set, and we're going to be doing it. We would have done it except for the election. Took a little strange turn. Because the second round was too big. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Mr.
This is Bloomberg Technology, Caroline Hiding, along with Ed Levin in San Francisco. That was, of course, President Trump in the Oval Office, wrapping up what is a big deal with the United Kingdom. So he says an extraordinary deal, of course, is in economic from the US into the UK. But in many ways also having a big procurement deal, a $10 billion one into the United Kingdom. In the meantime, the UK managing to lower tariffs on autos, on steel, on aluminium, but still that 10% base tariff remains. There was talk of China as well, and more broadly. Let's get to Bloomberg's Tyler Kenwell. Just wrap up with key headlines from that sector. There were individual companies that were name-checked. We have Mattel on the lower side. You also have some key names like Boeing and Retail on the back of this news.
Yeah, hey Caroline. Well, President Trump said that the details of this deal are still being worked out, but they could be finalized in the coming weeks ahead. So we should caveat this that they really are still negotiating here. Of course, the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has previously characterized that these would be agreements in principle. Now, importantly, as you outlined, it does keep in place that 10% baseline tariff across the board. But also, when it comes to the sector-specific tariffs, the United States has agreed to drop the steel and aluminum tariffs from 25% down to 0%. The UK will also be allowed to send in 100,000 homes into the US under a 10% tariff. It is also our understanding that the United Kingdom will be given preferential treatment moving forward when it comes to additional sector-specific tariffs that could be coming, including on pharmaceuticals, chips, lumber, things like that that we are expecting could be coming in the coming weeks. Now, for the U.S. side of things, the deal will increase market access for some U.S. goods, including industrial machinery. Ethanol is important one. The United Kingdom says that it will reduce its tariff on U.S. ethanol imports down to 0. Also chemicals, and then U.S. agriculture. This is one that we have been watching very closely because it really has been a sticking point between these two countries. The agriculture secretary Rollins in the room saying that this will impact U.S. beef imports in particular.
क्या कह रहा है? अरे कह रहे सर उधर जाके देखें, मेक श्योर के एग्रीमेंट साइन हुए हैं. अच्छा, कौन कौन से कनेक्शन ऑन है? कनेक्शन के अंदर खाली टेक प्रॉफिट और कोई है? वो डिस्कनेक्ट करें ना अगेन, सिर्फ एक रखें.
Major indices pushing to session highs. Boeing spiked as Commerce Secretary Lutnick name-checked them and said that later today a UK airline.
उधर जाए पेंडिंग तो नहीं कह रहा, उधर अभी कह रहा टेक प्रॉफिट पे. फिर अभी नहीं होगा जब तक टेक प्रॉफिट का हो नहीं जाए. तो वेट करें यार, मैच में पता नहीं 90 मिनट मिनिमम लगते हैं. मैं समझा 24 घंटे हो गए फिर तो. ऑलराइट जी, डन हो गया. एरिया भी सब कुछ.
expected to go up to
100 नहीं R2 की तरफ गई और वहां से बाउंस हो गई. तो ये बाउंस हुई है जी R1 के ऊपर से, और ES भी R1 के ऊपर से, अपर लिमिट से. A little bit above R1 because पीछे बोलता रहा है कि हर चीज गुड है. R2 तक जा सकती है नहीं. अब अगला देखें सर, बहुत नीचे से आ रही है. तब कितनी, अब वो चला गया है तो अब कितनी पुश करेंगे? देखें S2 के करीब से R2 तक चली गई है. से ह्यूज 56-50 से आ रही है, 57-50 पे चली गई. तो इट्स
So this may basically expected to come to any.
And I should land in, अब देखें चढ़ी है उसने वापस गिरना है ना, जिसने बाई किया उसने अपना प्रॉफिट लेना है तो सेल करेगा तो करेक्ट होगी मार्केट. So I am expecting it to fall around S1 तक आना चाहिए इसे. लेकिन कब ये अब डिपेंड करता है, क्योंकि देखें वॉलेटिलिटी खत्म हो गई, ट्रम्प चला गया और वी आर सिटिंग इनसाइड R1 at the moment.
Listen carefully. Can you hear the rhythm?
200 से गई है वो 305.16 तक. Crazy. So let me write this up. 316.
There's music in pockets, and if you want to learn to listen for Wall Street.
Global headquarters in New York. I'm Danny Berger. Welcome to Bloomberg Brief. Let's set your agenda.
Bloomberg Brief delivers the market news, data, and analysis you need live every weekday, only on Bloomberg. Context changes everything.
If you missed it on the news right.
How big a headwind is that going to be to performance over the next 6 months, next 12 months? That dollar story, that dollar factor, that FX overhead.
Yeah, I don't think you can overstate the importance of this dollar shift.
As we start to see a convergence of relative economic and profit growth rates, you are starting to see some of that overvaluation unwind, and it's shifting portfolio flows as well.
You'll miss the opening trade live every weekday.
U.S. jobs numbers are released. Bloomberg has the report under surveillance with crucial data and expert analysis at terminal speed. Nobody covered.
Welcome to Bloomberg Markets. I'm Bonnie Quinn. The US and United Kingdom have announced a trade deal. President Donald Trump hailing it as a quote breakthrough that will bring down barriers and expand markets.
Most people took R290 and shorted it. R2 का अपर नंबर से सेल किया था और डन हो गए. सर Nasdaq R2 तक पहुंच आ गई. R2 316 तक गई है. R1 का अपर नंबर 290 था ना, तो जिसने 290 से सेल किया डन हो गया. 20 पॉइंट्स, 30 पॉइंट्स, 40 पॉइंट्स.
ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं, पर जनरली एक एरिया हो जाए तो
नहीं, लेकिन वो क्योंकि गैप बड़ा था ना, पहले 250 आया, फिर 290 आया. जिसने 250 मिस कर दिया उसने 290 से सेल कर दिया. वो 316 तक गई और वापस नीचे शूट डाउन कर गई.
The 2-year yield, 3.8615%. It is changed by 8 basis points. Don't forget we had that photo meeting yesterday. Obviously, no change. Both sides of the Monday, and we have to see which one moves and how much and how soon. And then Bitcoin. This is another big story today. We're closing in on, well, we just hit $101,000 Bitcoin. Some Bitcoin-specific news, but also, of course, it's a proxy for the risk-on trade. So let's highlight a couple of those individual equity movers with Isabel.
Hey, Bonnie, it's the opposite story here with ARM edging down by as much as 5%. The company gave a disappointing sales forecast, raising concerns about a slowdown for the chip industry. Their profit estimates also lower than expected. So the company blamed the conservative forecast on the timing of the new agreements with customers. And as you said, we have the ARM CEO later in the hour. Up next, we're also looking at Coinbase. So we have this stock edging higher this in line with Bitcoin's $100,000 top today. The company agreed to buy Deribit for $2.9 billion. So Deribit is the world's largest exchange for Bitcoin and Ether options. So Coinbase called this a major step in their global expansion strategy. So the purchase marks one of the most significant acquisitions in the history of the crypto space. Exciting news there. And last, we're looking at Mattel. We see shares dropping slightly by 1.5%, and that comes after President Trump said that he will put 100% tariff on choice if Mattel goes outside of the U.S. That's when he was asked about Mattel's plans. Earlier this week, we know that Mattel paused its 2025 outlook, citing the volatile macroeconomic environment and, of course, the evolving in this tariff landscape. Back to you, Bonnie.
Exactly. Well, we'll continue with the big story of the day, as Bobby, and thank you for that. President Trump announcing his first major trade deal since the tariff barrage, April 2nd.
Today's agreement with the UK is the first in a series of agreements on trade that my administration has been negotiating over the past 4 weeks. With this deal, the UK joins the United States in affirming that reciprocity, fairness is an essential and vital principle.
Now, in advance of all of this, and without knowing the details, as he said himself, the Bank of England and Governor Bailey cut interest rates by a quarter point. Bloomberg's Mostly Law asked the Bank of England governor about this UK-US trade deal.
It's obviously good news. Now, however, the UK is a very open economy. So when we formed our view, it's not just about this UK-US bilateral trade relationship. About how all the other relationships in the world come back to the UK as it were, in terms of their things in the UK. So I really hope that the UK is able to do something on the UK-US front. I hope that it's the first of, maybe.
Joining us now with perspectives from both sides of the Atlantic, from the White House, Bloomberg's Tyler Kendall and Bloomberg Economics Chief European economist Jamie Rush is in our London office. Let's start with Tyler. Tyler, give us some more of the specifics of this US-UK trade framework or trade deal. Yeah, hey, Bonnie. Well, President Trump says that the details are still being worked out, but they'll be finalized in the coming weeks. And we should caveat that the negotiations are still ongoing. Of course, as we've been discussing, Treasury Secretary Scott really characterized that these would be agreements in principle. And importantly, what we do know is that it keeps that 10% baseline tariff in place against the United Kingdom. But when it comes to
slow down.
The United States is dropping its 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports down to 0. And when it comes to UK autos, the United Kingdom will be allowed to send in 100,000 cars into the US under a 10% tariff. It's also our understanding that the United Kingdom is going to be given preferential treatment for the next round of sector-specific tariffs, since we know that we're expecting some others, including on pharmaceuticals, chips, and lumber, things like that. Now, what the U.S. is getting from this is increased market access for its exports in some pretty key industries, including industrials like machineries, also ethanol. The United Kingdom is going to drop its tariff on U.S. ethanol imports down to 0. Chemicals, and then U.S. agricultural products. That's a very important one. Something that we know has long been a sticking point between these countries. The Agriculture Secretary was in the Oval Office, said that this will impact U.S. beef in particular, while the United Kingdom said in a statement that they are not going to drop their food standards when it comes to this. What the enforcement mechanisms are going to look like, we'll have to remain to see when it comes to those purchase and increase of those imports into the United Kingdom. But I would also mention that the Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, announced that the British airline is also going to announce a deal today to purchase $10 billion worth of Boeing aircraft. The other side of this, of course, though, is that President Trump has been focused on those non-tariff barriers. It appears here that could be preferential treatment at customs for U.S. goods. But the other part that we didn't hear is that it doesn't appear that a digital services tax is in this agreement. Instead, UK officials do say that both sides have agreed to work towards some sort of new digital trade deal that could help British firms who export to the United States. Of course, as you all know, that DST really does hit U.S. Tech companies hard. So, Donnie, we're going to have to wait and see how the fully fleshed deal comes together. But President Trump himself said that he is looking forward to working with the United Kingdom more. Yes, and both sides have lots of wins. Jamie, that becomes you. You're uniquely positioned. You used to work at the British Treasury, and of course now you're Chief European economist for Bloomberg Economics. So how does this move the needle for not just the United Kingdom? What does it mean in terms of what the US can decide to do with the European Union?
Well, I mean, I think it's politically very significant, right? So for Keir Starmer, UK Prime Minister, he's first in there, first out the door with a win, and that's important to him. I think the sectorally is significant too. So the car industry was badly affected, and that's very concentrated geographically in the UK, which of course makes it hard to manage, and for the steel sector as well. When it comes to the macro level, if you kind of break down the numbers, well, before we go into today, the increase or the tariff shock was about 10 percentage points on the effective tariff rate on exports from the UK to the US. Now it's looking like about 7. So we're dialing down a little bit of the economic impact from the tariffs, but by no means getting rid of it all. And when you think that about half the value add that ends up in the US from the UK anyway goes through other countries, well, that just tells you that those other dealers are going to be just as significant for the UK as the deal is carved out itself. So big news, macro impact quite small. But you're right, I think we should be thinking about what the EU is going to do. And I think actually that's clearly a much more difficult battle for the EU to win the deal with the US. The grievances, frankly, just run much deeper.
Right, and I mean things like saying we're going to exponentially increase US beef exports thanks to this UK deal. How will that make Europeans feel? That's one of their really important factors.
Well, I mean, the EU,
SRES बना हुआ 30-20 में कि above बड़ी स्पीड से गिरनी है अगर ये गिर गई तो बैक क्योंकि हायर हाई इतना गया तो उसने वापस भी तो आना है ना.
So I think scope for a deal along those dimensions is very limited. And the deficit is much wider between the EU and the US than it is for the UK.
हाँ हो जाने चाहिए. एक दफा नीचे ये गिर जाए ना, अभी तो वो दोबारा हायर हाई बनाने जा रही है. 316 को तोड़ती है कि let's see.
Particular deal, given that the really important beginning of conversation is coming this weekend with Scott Bessent and China representatives.
Yeah, well, Bonnie, the White House wants to show any sort of forward progress when it comes to deal as they handle some
हाँ अगर हायर हाई बन गया तो फिर आपका SRES इनवैलिड हो गया ना, क्योंकि एक्सटेंशन बन रही है अभी. So you had a swing, massive swing of this one. कितने पॉइंट की स्विंग आई थी? ऑलमोस्ट 43 पॉइंट की, और अभी हायर हाई बनने ही जा रहा है.
with their Chinese counterparts. At this point, it really does need to be seen what it's going to take in order for them to de-escalate first with Beijing before they can ultimately talk about a deal. President Trump.
अभी R2 टच नहीं हुआ officially. Let's see.
But depending on how they go, potentially we could see them go down. Of course, officials have long said yes.
NQ का तो अपर लिमिट हो गया. R1. Yes.
Breaking news. It appears the world has a new pope, a new leader of Catholics worldwide. More than 1.3 billion of them. There's white smoke coming from the Sistine Chapel. That meant that with the last election, the cardinals from all around the world have elected a new pope. Now, this is just the second day of deliberations on a new pope, the second day of voting. This is quite a very quick, I would say, choice, given that in the past we've seen many more elections, much longer voting time. Once again,
अब देखें यहाँ से अगर एक तो मैं वेट कर रहा हूँ कि मिड बैंड आए नीचे रेड हो और फिर हर मिड बैंड नीचे की तरफ चलना शुरू हो जाएगा. वेट कर रहा हूँ 30-20 को रेड होने में, क्योंकि इसने अभी एक्सटेंशन नहीं बनाई.
just as soon as it is announced. Once again, the wait is over for Catholics worldwide. We have the
क्योंकि अभी 15-10 का मिड बैंड पड़ा है, 30-20 का पड़ा है.
is emitting light smoke, of course, that bears significance because everybody is coming from the Vatican means that a new pope has been elected. It would appear that this time around there wasn't much dissent. We've only had a few rounds of voting, like I say. We had a day and a half, basically, it being just after 6 p.m. in Rome. So a day and a half of deliberations, discussions, agreements, conversations between the cardinals. Just one night, in fact, to think this over, and perhaps a couple of rounds of voting today. And with this round, they have decided, presumably they are happy with their choice. There were several cardinals in the running for this. Many of them had advantages, be it in terms of age or in terms of leanings, political leanings, and otherwise, what they do with the church going forward. But there is
नहीं सर, अभी तो बॉटम ऑफ द बार टच हुआ है. उधर एक्सटेंशन शायद बना ही जाए. आई डोंट नो. लेट्स सी. 30, the last high is 33.
Okay, let me see. Elected, and just a handful in any particular generation or several generations. This is wait for a war in the previous
Indian supermarket.
Yes, might be possibly a European hope. There was the potential for a
When I was like,
but there was also the thinking that perhaps now might be the right time for a U.S. Pope to be elected leader of the Catholic Church, perhaps other followers.
All right, I'm gonna turn it off today. See you guys tomorrow. I gotta go early today. But only thing area left is your R2, S2 तो बहुत नहीं S2 के करीब आई थी बहुत करीब आ गई थी फिर ये ट्रम्प के स्पीच की वजह से R2 से S2 से R2 incredible yes उसने क्या दिया था बाय बोल के गया था कि बाय
बोलने के बावजूद भी इतनी ज्यादा एकदम से मार्केट में हलचल नहीं आएगी आई है 43 पॉइंट का दिखा है
बट अभी R3 वैलिड है
R2 भी है अभी R2 नहीं टच हुआ R1 का अपर नंबर लगा Nasdaq का और ES में दोबारा ES को R1 क्रॉस कर गए यस अब देख रही है कि वो बेस बनती है कि नहीं पॉसिबिलिटी है लेकिन मैं अभी भी कहूँ इतनी ऊपर गई है इसको थोड़ा सा नीचे आएगी पहले ये S1 को बेस बना सकती है अभी भी Nasdaq भी S1 को अच्छी बेस
this last period when Gazans
take profit like I said is almost dead.
Good. Have been calling every single night to office the Catholics
Sir, the take profit of 1500 भी करा सकते हैं, right? Just
टेक प्रॉफिट का सब कैसे डाउन कर सकते हैं
पहले टेक प्रॉफिट का EA कर रहे हैं आपने कर लिया नहीं वो पढ़ दिया सिर्फ EA किया PA अगर इन्होंने कर लिया 30 दिन से पहले तो PA की फीस नहीं है हाँ जी तो अगर आपने फिर आप PA में आ जाएंगे ठीक है राउंड 2 में आ गए स्टेज 2 पे आपने वहां पर भी 3000 बनाने हैं उसके ऊपर जितना बनाएंगे वो डेली निकाल सकते तो फिर इनको 1500 बनाना है जैसे हाँ यस ये में नहीं है PA में है यस नहीं वो तो EA की फीस है PA की तो कोई फीस ही नहीं एक दफा आप राउंड 2 में आ गए फिर तो खत्म हो गया ना हाँ वो तो आपने इन्होंने $100 पे की ठीक है इनके पास 30 दिन है अगर इन्होंने 30 दिन में नहीं फिनिश किया तो PA की फीस लगेगी
बट अगर ये फिनिश नहीं हुआ तो PA की फीस कैसे देनी है
इनका ये होने वाला है ना तो फिर तो फीस लगेगी ना फिर तो फीस पूरी देनी पड़ हाँ नहीं $150 लेंगे वो तो या
एक प्रॉफिट में आपने एक बार EA क्लियर कर लिया
हाँ
30 डेज
यस
PA की तो कोई लिमिट
कोई इनडेफिनेट है वो आपके पास टाइम लिमिट नहीं है और कोई एज नॉर्मल है हर चीज के लिए यस
1500 whatever we can top you can
एवरी डे विथड्रॉ नो प्रॉब्लम
उसका हुआ है
महीने में खत्म कर दिया मैं ये बना बन गया
कोई फीस नहीं है
मैं PA में आ गई कोई फीस देनी थी मैं PA में आ गई PA में क्या करना है
you have to make $1500
waited for
जब 1500 से वाले ऊपर चल गया 1500 से ऊपर चल गया
हाँ
that's कल आपने आज 1700 सुपर हो गया
अच्छा वो जो 1500 पहले ये का बनाया था और टॉप 1500
जो होती है 10
और इसका लाइफ टाइम कितना है?
वही 2000 है, $2000 1500 क्योंकि
थ्रेशोल्ड तो नहीं है ना इसका?
नहीं नहीं
स्टॉप लॉस एंड टीपी का बनाया तो वो मैंने वैसे आज वही किए तो
टेक प्रॉफिट
सारे मेरे पॉजिटिव में गए है ना मिडल ऑफ द बार फ्रॉम 2020 और
तो बोलो बॉटम ऑफ द बार
लेकिन कुछ जो है वो नीचे जाते ही गए ही नहीं है तो फिर मैंने मिडल से लिया कि वो
ठीक है लेकिन नहीं वो प्रोबेबिलिटी सेंटर में नहीं है, लो नीचे है। बेशक है, नो प्रॉब्लम, आप बैठे, हाँ बैठे कोई बात नहीं, रिकमेंडेशन ये है। लेकिन अगर आपने बनाए हैं तो जो कर रही हैं करते रहे।
कल आपने बात बताई थी ना, मैंने फिक्स स्ट्रेटजी बना ली कि 4 ट्रेड लेना,
हाँ
बस ऐसे ही
सही कहें, ठीक बस
सारे सही गए।